What if the one thing you ignore every day, the thing you think you have plenty of, could ruin your entire future? This isn't just a story about grades or success, it's about a secret most people waste without even realizing it. Stay with me because by the end you'll discover exactly what Ethan did to turn everything around, and how ignoring it could cost you more than you ever imagined. Ethan was known as the brightest student in his class. Teachers praised his intelligence, classmates admired him, and everyone believed he was destined for greatness. But Ethan had a hidden flaw: he wasted his time. Instead of using his talent wisely, he spent hours glued to his phone, watching endless videos, playing games, and hanging out with friends. Every day he told himself, "I have plenty of time. I'll study later." His parents warned him repeatedly, "Ethan, time is precious. If you waste it now, you'll regret it later." But he would just laugh it off, convinced that his brilliance alone would carry him through. Then came the day Ethan had been avoiding, the final exams. Little did he know, the results would shock everyone and change everything he thought about himself. What if one report card could change your entire life? The day Ethan had feared finally arrived. The results of his final exams were out. To his horror, his grades were far worse than he had imagined. Teachers who once praised him now looked disappointed and concerned. Friends who admired his intelligence began keeping their distance, whispering among themselves. At home, Ethan's parents sat silently as he handed over his report card. Their faces were calm, yet their eyes spoke volumes: disappointment, worry, and a hint of sadness. Ethan felt a deep emptiness inside, a pain he had never experienced before. He replayed the past months in his mind, the hours wasted on games, videos, and distractions. "How did I let this happen?" he thought, feeling both shocked and lost. Confused and desperate for guidance, Ethan decided to visit the one person whose wisdom he trusted above all: his grandfather. But what advice awaited him there would change everything. Some lessons come too late, but this one could save you if you listen. Ethan sat across from his grandfather, his mind heavy with regret and confusion. His grandfather looked at him kindly but firmly and said, "Ethan, intelligence was never your problem. Your talent is enough to achieve anything. But wasting time, that is what led you here." He leaned closer and added, "Time is like a river. Once it flows past, you can never bring it back. Every moment wasted is a moment lost forever." Ethan nodded slowly, but a flicker of doubt crossed his mind. "Grandpa, can't I just study later? Maybe catch up before it's too late?" His grandfather shook his head with a knowing look. "No, son. Let me tell you a story about a man whose life collapsed because he ignored the value of time." And with that, the story of Lucas Grant, a man who once had everything, began, showing Ethan the harsh reality of what happens when talent meets procrastination. What if being rich couldn't protect you from failure? Ethan listened intently as his grandfather began the story. "There was a man named Lucas Grant," he said. "He was a hard-working CEO who built a massive business empire from the ground up. Everyone admired his dedication and vision. But as soon as Lucas achieved success, things began to change. He started waking up late, delaying important decisions, and letting distractions take over his day. Hours slipped by scrolling through social media, attending trivial meetings, and ignoring urgent tasks. He had everything, Ethan: money, respect, power, but he forgot the one thing that could never be bought: time. One day, a trusted business advisor warned him, "Lucas, you are wasting your most valuable asset. If you don't change now, everything you've built could collapse." But Lucas laughed it off, confident that his wealth could shield him. Sometimes, one mistake can destroy everything. As the story unfolded, Ethan learned how Lucas's empire began to crumble. Competitors quickly overtook him, employees lost faith, and investors started pulling out their money. Every decision he delayed, every hour he wasted, had consequences he could no longer reverse. Lucas tried desperately to regain control. He worked day and night, attempting to fix what he had lost. But it was too late. Alone in his empty office, he finally understood the harsh truth. His biggest failure wasn't lack of talent, it was the time he had wasted. The opportunity to save everything had slipped away forever. Ethan listened, his heart racing. The realization hit him like a bolt: he could be heading down the same path. Something inside him ignited with determination. In that moment, Ethan made a firm decision. He would never allow himself to become like Lucas. From that day onward, he vowed to respect every moment of his time and change his life completely. What if changing one habit could change your destiny? Ethan took his grandfather's words to heart and decided it was time for a real change. He created a strict study routine, cut down all distractions and focused entirely on his goals. Hours that were once wasted on videos and games were now dedicated to learning and improving himself. Day by day his grades began to rise. Teachers noticed his dedication, classmates were impressed by his transformation, and his confidence grew. Eventually, Ethan became the top student in his class once again. But he didn't stop there. Using the discipline he had developed, he ventured into entrepreneurship. Slowly, carefully, he built his own successful business. Every success he achieved reminded him of the lesson that had sparked the change in him. Yet, the lesson Ethan had learned, the one about time, was something he would carry forever, shaping not just his career but the rest of his life. What's the one thing you can never get back? Years later, Ethan never forgot the lesson that had changed his life. He always reminded himself and others, time is the key to success. Lose it and it's gone forever. His story became an inspiration to everyone who heard it. People saw how a small change, a single decision to respect time, could transform a life completely. From struggling student to top achiever and successful entrepreneur, Ethan proved that valuing every moment is the true path to success. If this story can change your life too, what will you do with your time today?